back to another video, and this is the one y'all are waiting for. This is the video where my mom has questions for me. So I posted a video a couple days ago sharing my thoughts, my story, my feelings. My mom watched it and she has a rebuttal. She has questions and she has a side of the story that she wants to tell. So we're gonna let her tell it. Let me put out a disclaimer first. I think I have a couple of disclaimers. Disclaimer one is in my story time, guys. If y'all haven't watched that story time, watch the 2 videos before this one. 2 videos before this one. Click out and go watch that one. Then come back and watch this video, so that this video will make sense for you. In my video, I explained how me and my mom do not talk. Y'all mama has 4 kids, and she talks to the other kids. So don't think that's what it is. It's just me. It's an isolated incident, right? Or not to think, I just didn't want it out there that you just didn't talk to your kids. So disclaimer, she talks to her. Yeah, she talks to her other kids. It's not like she's, just not talking to her kids. But me and my mom have a different type of relationship, I would say. And second disclaimer, she's a Pisces, so she's stubborn. And that has a lot to do with a lot of it. Her sign.
Pisces get along with everybody.
Yeah, but y'all are stubborn. Stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna give her the floor.
I don't need the floor.
And let her, we're gonna have a debate or a conversation, right?
It's a conversation.
A conversation.
Yes.
To clear the air.
Hopefully once and for all.
And then disclaimer 2, guys, the day I posted that story time about me and my mom not talking, we had not talked up until the day I posted it. So yeah, let's hear these questions that my mom wants to ask, this conversation, this maybe explanation. Maybe she thinks, I don't know. I don't know any of what's about to set how this conversation is gonna go. But so in this video, we're pretty much just gonna be having open dialogue about our relationship, the mishaps. And yeah, we decided to, in the spirit of being transparent and me putting out a video on the story and a lot of my family business, it's only right to have the person be able to tell their side or air the situation out. And I mean, this is real life, like, whatever. Okay, so.
Well, of course, your journey and your thoughts about how we got to how we are is a little bit different than the one I have.
Okay.
In several aspects. And I'm gonna have to take it back a little bit, like before me and your dad separated.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to then. I don't know. Yes, we're going back that far. But you cannot deny that before then you were probably closer to me than the other 3
yes,
were.
y'all. I was a mama's
girl.
I was both. I was a mama's girl and a daddy's girl as a young kid.
Well, when you was a daddy's child when you were like 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. But when you got to like 6, 7, 8 and up, you became like attached to my hip. Like everywhere I went, you went. I think it changed only because of her situation. Mm-hmm. And you kind of felt neglected. I think you started feeling neglected. That's when I think it shifted. Now, when me and your dad actually became separated, yes, I was shocked when you went to choose to stay with him only because of how our relationship used to be.
Yeah.
And now, was I mad? No. Hurt, yes. But I don't recall going, and this is one of the questions I have for you, is going a whole year
without talking. Okay,
and the reason I'm gonna say this is because I don't know how memory serves you, but
I posted a video today about how I lost my memory.
Well, right, and then I think it happened back then too.
When I got that concussion.
Now I think I went, when I say some time, like I didn't speak to you every day, probably like I should have, but I remained involved in your school, in your sports. I would text you, get a lot of one-word responses a lot of times.
Okay, y'all, so let's clear the air because I thought that this was going to be one of her questions because whether or not my mom went an entire year without talking to me.
It didn't happen.
Yes. So we're gonna explain it. Maybe let me explain. Wait, since she doesn't understand, she feels like she was so involved. What year was this for me in high school, though, specifically? What year did I have Holbert? I remember it was the year I had Holbert.
We were in...
So maybe my freshman or sophomore year.
It was probably your freshman year, because this was... Where were you in 2011, 2012 year?
I didn't get to high school until 2012. My freshman year then.
It was 2012, okay.
My freshman year. My mom did not talk to me until... I don't know when we initially stopped talking. Probably when we moved out. So by the time school started.
Okay.
School started and we did not speak again, y'all. I know the date vividly. We did not speak again until February 26th.
Until my birthday.
Until her birthday.
You're saying we went from August because that's when school started.
August, September, October,
So
November,
you said we went there
December,
to February.
February.
So I'm trying to. So you skipped some months.
See,
we stayed there with y'all that Christmas. We all came over to the apartment and we all stayed together that first Christmas. So I know I was speaking then. I mean, I'm trying to.
Okay, so then it was my sophomore year. Because listen. I put a story up today about my concussion. When that situation happened, you did not even come because we were not speaking. You didn't even come to the hospital.
No, let me tell you what happened. I remember that story. Your dad called me. They contacted your dad. They didn't contact me. Your dad called me to tell me that you were at the hospital with the concussion. And I said, well, I'm on my way up there. He says, no, they're getting ready to release her now. That's why I didn't come up to the hospital. Because of that conversation right there. He said they weren't ready to release you.
So we went, when I say a year, y'all, probably like an entire school year. It was a long time. And to me, it was still 365
To a
days.
child, I just have to realize from your aspect, it probably seemed like a long time. I have never went a whole year without talking to you.
I mean, this time around,
Not
it's
even
already
6 months.
been... My mom is the type of person that stubborn is like really an understatement. Truthfully.
I'm stubborn, but I know my facts. That I do know.
Truthfully. No, and when I say stubborn, my mom won't talk to you for a year. And she has no problem being able to...
Not to my children, it's different. Now, I'm stubborn. No, well, let me tell you back then I was stubborn. I've gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. A lot better.
And then you'll have to realize I was 13.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, hitting her freshman years and her early teenage years. Anyway, long story short is, no, we had that's probably when it was started dissolving. However, I do recall coming around, especially when your dad started going visiting and stuff.
Yes.
And started coming over there,
leaving,
trying to make sure you ate, trying to make sure you went places, because you were starting to get very isolated by yourself. You cried a lot. You was very emotional.
Yes, that is when my mom came back around. Yeah, when my dad
and I felt bad, and at that time then I wasn't in a financial place to really just say, okay, come on back over here. Because then I had downsized and everything like that. I think that's when, but I think that
yes, that is true.
But I don't,
because she would come, y'all, like I told y'all in that story, I was living by myself in that apartment, and my mom would really come over and cook, bring me groceries. Me and my mom go through this wave, so we'll not talk for a year and then talk. We'll not talk for a year, and then
I think we're more alike than
we are nothing
we're
alike.
We're more alike than you realize.
No,
yes, we are.
No,
yes, we are.
No.
Yes, we are.
Me and my mom are nothing alike. We don't have not one similar trait, except being stubborn.
Oh, so you admit you are that?
No, yes, I'm very stubborn.
Now,
but parents have to realize that kids are only know what we are taught. So, but then I have realized as I've grown up that, if you didn't know, you didn't know either. If you were raised a certain way, that's the way you were raised, and then it just keeps going and going and going. But then it's gonna keep going and going and going.
True.
Because to me, like, you and Nana are close, but like it wasn't always like that.
No,
y'all had y'all's up and down.
I didn't grow up, but we grew up. She was there every day, of course, but
and like that. My mom was physically not in these time periods, but growing up, she was there every day.
But I wasn't like. She wasn't somebody I could confide in on a more deeper pistol. And I tried to make that for y'all to be able to tell me how you felt, what you thought, or whatever the case is. I think because you think, like, for an example, because Deja stayed with me, which she didn't really have a choice, so to speak, like you had a choice.
So I have another sister, y'all, and to me, her and my mom are...
And I think that's when you start, because you didn't start saying that until...
They're the same person, they think alike, they talk alike, they act alike, their thoughts are similar.
But you didn't start saying that until...
Until you have to
was
realize,
just-
like, I'm still young. So everything that I'm realizing now, or everything that I'm saying now, is because I'm growing up, and you just realize stuff now. Maybe I didn't always know how people's personality really wasn't.
The thing that drew to me is for a while, and I'm talking about probably for at least a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I considered you to be I talked to you more than I talked to all the other ones combined, because I used to talk to you several times a day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you would call me about the most
everything
mundane stuff that I'm like, okay, really? But that was fine, because that's communicating. You at least let me into your part of the world, so to speak. Mm-hmm. The day that you decided to stop
my mom
speaking,
has her notes written down on her phone, y'all. That's
yes, because
she had a lot to say. She had a lot to clear up in my video.
On June the 5th, when you decided that
she went back. This is our most recent photo. So to this day, we hadn't talked since June 5th.
All I know is,
and today is September
the 13th.
13th.
I was on the phone with you, as I was every day. Okay. And I told you, I said, let me call you back. Didn't say, I said, I'm going to call you back. No,
you did say why.
I said, call you back. I said, because I got my hands full and I need to take something in. I said, I'll call you back. You said, okay. At the same time, I already knew that your sister was going to be up at the Ace Hardware store. She was trying to get keys made. So when I ran up there, I hadn't called you back, but we were only talking about literally a 10-minute difference at this time. I ran up to the Lowe's, and in that time, you had FaceTimed your sister, and apparently saw that I was on with her.
This not how
this is my, as you say, my truth. And so I didn't call you back in that 10-minute span, and so you saw that I was with Deja. So I guess you just thought I put Deja's knees in front of yours. Okay. When I tried to call you back, you didn't answer. So I tried again and you didn't answer. So I was starting to get worried, because now usually if I call you and you don't answer, you call me back kind of in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. So when your sister calls you, you pick right up. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, Desi's fine. I got to touch with her. And I said, well, why she ain't talking to me? I guess she asked you that. Mm-hmm. You told her you wasn't talking to me because I always put you on the back burner. I don't make time for you, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. I said, are you serious? Mm-hmm. Because I'm one person and I got 4 people literally every day texting me, calling me for something. Okay. Not to do anything,
but just to talk.
Just to either talk or ask for something. Okay. Every day. So I'm like, are you serious? And that's how it came. And I said, well, I'm not going to keep trying to call somebody who is purposely not going to answer the phone and call me back. Mm-hmm. You then commenced to tell me that you have decided, as you had put on July 10th, that Friday.
5 days.
That you have, no, this was a month later. Because we're in July now. Oh. This happened the first time in June. Oh. You said, I have decided that I want nothing to do with you for the rest of my life. You make sure you put a period at that end. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So now, at the age of 22, she has decided she no longer, for the rest of her life, need anything from me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't take it personally, because I know at some point you was going to need me for something.
What have I needed you for? You just think it's coming?
Yes.
Because I hadn't called her yet.
Well, you said,
I have not called her. I have not talked to her. I have not asked her for nothing.
She didn't. But you said for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And I knew that was not... This was in July. We're only 2 months out. So from this right here. And I said, you know what? I said, she got so many years left. She'll change her mind.
Mm-hmm. And so she left it at that.
Well, no, I responded. I said, this is your life. That's your decision. Because I didn't want you to think that was my choice not to have a relationship with you or not speak to you. Okay. So that's why I said, your decision, your life. I can't tell you who you can and cannot have in your life. But I think that...
Let me rewind
your parents
should going.
Yes, we're like everybody else as far as you should choose who you have in your life and who benefits you or whatever, but you can't make your parents, regardless of how wrong we may get parenting, you just can't dismiss them so quickly and put statements out there for the rest of my life, because what if something had happened to one of us before today, and that statement
then we should have been living our life as though that mattered. We can't just when it happens it matters. Okay, so let me clear that. Let me rewind back to the phone call that she's referring to.
No, this was a text message.
No, the phone call when I got mad.
In June, okay.
So my parents will have agreed that I'm their most independent child. I don't really ask for much. I don't really need like every kid needs their guidance, but I'm just independent. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think
why.
it's a Scorpio, and I think a lot of Scorpios are very independent people.
So with that being said, my parents do leave me on the back burner a lot. They do expect me to handle a lot. Now I'm really their youngest child, mind you. I'm their youngest child.
No, we got TJ.
I'm one of their youngest child. There's one child younger than me. Oh my God.
You're not the youngest.
I said I'm one of their youngest.
Yeah.
The second to the youngest. I am one of their youngest children, and still they don't almost even ask, they don't almost even think or almost even know to like check in, make sure I have everything. And me being who I am, and as you will hear in the story, because of everything, I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna go to you. So on this particular day, it was something referencing like me moving into my apartment and stuff, and I really needed, like I had never lived by myself or anything, and I had really needed some, I don't know if it was like advice or a question or something. Now my issue with when I called her and her saying, oh, let me call you back, I'm dealing with something with Jay, is because that was not the first or the second or the third time when I'm calling, when I do call and when I do actually ask for something, for me to be put on the back burner, and for I'm gonna cut this out, but for somebody who's not even your child. For someone who's not even your child, who has a parent, who can get these things done. So at that point, yeah, it wasn't like a one-time thing or a two-time thing. When you have conversations over and over and over again, and you feel like it's going unheard, you feel like your parents just could care less about you needing, okay, so yeah, I am done. Since you think I have it all figured out, okay, let me just figure it all out. If you can't be here and support and help me, then what? No, that wasn't how it was.
Well,
and
no.
then wait. And then her statement, and you it is important to have boundaries on who you have in your life, whether good or bad. But for your parents, you can't really pick and choose your parents. And like, I cringed at that statement when people were like, you only get one set of parents.
Right.
And yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean like everyone's parents isn't the idea of a and not to say like I'm saying about my parents, but everyone's idea, like when my mom isn't the same as like what you think about when you think about your mom, or when I think of my dad, it isn't the same daddy ideal that you get. It's not that relationship. And I think,
well, see, and the thing about it is, of all four of the kids, you're the only one that has that, really, I think, that mindset.
But I feel like it's because my mind is independent.
But I also said, I think like this too, is that you haven't been a parent, so it's kind of hard for you to really see it when you're dealing with multiple children. Not saying it's anybody's fault, but when you're dealing with multiple children and you got multiple personalities going on, sometimes it's like putting out a fire. If I see a fire over here, I'm over here. If I see one over here, I'm over here.
And if mine just burning a little bit, you're gonna wait and put out a bigger fire.
And see, it's like the other ones are more needy. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not necessarily a good thing, but they're more needy or something like that than you. And I would put it like this: my boys are more needy than my girls. Mm-hmm. And
that is very true.
And so sometimes I do lose focus that you all may need mommy time too, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Because I'm so used to y'all taking care of whatever it is that you need to take care of without asking. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand too, that doesn't mean that
you love any less.
I love, like you always say, I have favorites. And
that's always a joke.
And I don't.
But low key, y'all, her and my sister,
I don't have.
They're the same human being if you ever
favorite
meet
stuff.
someone.
Well, that's because personality wise, yeah. But what I'm saying is
they're a lot like more passive and not confrontational. I speak up. I'm out there. If I have an issue, I say it. And then my mom's stubborn. So if it was a problem, she retreats. She's just like my sister. She gets quiet. She retreats. She's not going to really say anything. Me, no, I'm going to say it. And you're going to know it. And you're going to feel it. So when I sent her that message, that's my personality. That's me. Let me hear you. And she did her personality. Let me retreat. Let me be quiet. But as my mom, that's you. Okay, let me go 3, 4, 5 months.
But if I'm calling and you're not answering,
not this time.
Well, last time I tried to call you and I even sent you a text and said, "Well, I still love you." I sent you that text. If I'm not getting a response back or you're not answering calls, I know you.
Y'all, she's exaggerating just a little bit. It ain't like she be calling and texting me every single day, and I'm just forever ignoring
No, I know.
you.
I stopped at a certain point. I stopped.
At like 2 calls in a text.
I tried. I tried. I mean, I tried, but it's you know, because I got that part of me that's like, I'm not gonna keep.
But you should for your kid.
Well, you should.
You should. But you should. We're the kid. Well, what did you want me to do? You want me to call you after I just expressed to you that my problem was with how you were treating me?
But you have to understand, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way.
Y'all, we went without, and this is all you had to do.
Is what?
Talk.
I tried. You didn't answer the phone. And I know you hate to admit it, but you are a little stubborn.
No, I do admit that I'm stubborn.
And when you're mad or you see things your way, sometimes you have tunnel vision. And it's going to be that way until, like, you want everybody to see it from your point of view. And I think that sometimes, you know, you don't want to step out of your shoes and see it somebody else's way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm working on. But that's what I'm working on.
If you ever become a parent, and I pray one day you're blessed to be a parent.
I will.
Especially if you have more than one child, you're going to see. First of all, it ain't no perfect parenting. I don't care between me and us, your dad, everybody else's parents. It is the most understood job there is. There's the hardest job there is. And when you have multiple kids,
sometimes people get left in the back burner. And that was me.
But it's
the
not,
middle child.
It's not an intentional back burner. It's not like people intentionally put you there or intentionally neglect you or intentionally do whatever the case. Like I used to tell everybody, I'm only as happy as my saddest child. And if that saddest child is you, then
it's always on your mind.
It's going to always be there. It's a nagging. It's whatever the case is. And so, even though I didn't say anything, it nagged me. You know, I didn't talk about
stubborn.
it. So I'm stubborn.
So she's just gonna let it
but
nag her.
I'm not as stubborn as I used to be.
As you used to be, but that is true.
I'm working on that part. I mean, because I've been told, you know, by multiple people.
And I'm working on seeing things from other viewpoints and standpoints of other people. Because, like you said, like when you do have multiple kids, you do got to deal with people differently. You do have to deal with people differently.
You do, and but like I said, when I take for granted, okay, you're probably, like you said, one of the out of the four, the most independent, and I don't have to worry about you as much as I probably.
But sometimes we want our parents.
I know that, but see, you have to understand. I'm learning that part. Just because you're 22, maybe it took me 22 years to get to that part. I don't know.
Now y'all know why I'm so hard ass and independent.
You're not as hard ass as you think you are.
Yeah, but there's a reason why I have to put on that persona. Because I can't.
Because I told you a long time ago. Out of all the kids, I think you're my most sensitive child. And I think you take emotions and you handle them differently than other ways do. I think out of all the kids, I think you are the most sensitive of them. You probably don't agree, but I do.
I don't know, because now
Deja is she's emotional.
I love my little baby though.
She's emotional. You're sensitive in the fact that you take on everybody's issues.
Okay, now that is 100%.
You take on everybody's issues.
And then I feel so overwhelmed.
And so when you're trying to deal with your issues opposed to everybody else's,
then I take things way more personal.
Right,
right.
Yeah. She's just emotional by
nature.
She's a Gemini, so you never know what you're gonna get from day to day. But
oh my God, but yeah.
But I don't know how to avoid this pitfall in the future, though. You can tell what happened.
Communicating.
But are you the best communicator?
No, but I have gotten better, and I am working on it because, I don't know, I am like realizing everything is a two-way street. Every problem is a two-way street. Every conversation is a two-way conversation. But it just takes two people either way. So if we don't talk, that took two people, and if we were able to work on it, that took two people too. So I feel like work on your part and doing what? Not putting me on the back burner.
Right, and then you have to understand, just like anything in life, it's gonna be sometimes I cannot stop and do whatever it is, you know, whether it be the talk or the whatever the case is, but I will make more of an effort.
And me not taking things so personal. Thank you, Jesus. But I've been saying that across the board. Because even recently this past week, I've been saying, I'm not going to take it personal, I'm not going to take it personal, I'm not going to take it personal. But you do take it personal when it's your mom.
And I understand that. But I will try to, what's the word? make more of an effort to make sure that I'm attending to whatever it is that you need to have attended to at that time. Be it just a talk. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might need to do, maybe you just want to do something one-on-one, you know, mm-hmm. opposed to me either having somebody else with me or...
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me.
But, well, sometimes you just need that time to go out and just vent. Wednesday, so I mean,
that was the talk. We got it out. Well, that was all your questions, right? Or did you have some more?
I think that's it. I understand. That's what I realized. I understand her better than she understands herself. I do. I do. But I love her no less than I love the other ones.
I think a lot of people have this.
She's still cute.
I think a lot of people, this is what I put on my story. A lot of young adults have like relationship problems with their parents, especially because sometimes it's either the parents have a hard time. Like for me, my biggest the problem that I felt like my parents had like the biggest issue was like me not speaking up. Even though I say like I speak up a lot, my parent, not really you, but dad more so, like, you know, you just say anything and we kind of just take it, or like this is your opinion, and it kind of like we just go with it. But like I don't know, as I've grown up and like learned, I don't always agree with everything you say. I don't always feel like what you told me to do was the best thing for me to do. I don't always. I'm making my decisions that are like for me, even if you don't think that they're what was best. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I literally stayed in a major that I was miserable. I literally stayed in my major because I was miserable because I was doing what my family wanted me to do.
Not me. I told you what made you happy.
Yeah, but I literally waited so long to even tell people I changed my major.
I told you, I said, as long as, I said, always be in something that you're happy in.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the money it is, what it is. I said, as long as it's legal and you're happy.
Right.
That's all that counts.
Right.
But what I think you also, y'all need to understand too, and I'm talking about you young adults that you're referring to, is that your parents are humans. Like, in other words, we
didn't ask to be here.
You didn't ask to be here, but at the same token, nobody gave us a manual to come when you came with it.
And I've learned that
it wasn't a DNA thing saying this is how they are, this is what they're going to do, da 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 da. We don't come with that. And I think y'all put us on a certain level that we should know all this, and that's not going to happen.
So when our parents like make a mistake or they mess up, it's
we're
like,
gonna make many of them.
It's like, you know, the end all be all.
And we got our life, and we're trying to do things over here, and then we still trying to deal with our children's lives.
Yeah.
And now that I got man got to deal with his life, and
I can't wait so I can show y'all little man.
But yeah, just take a breather sometimes. Just realize that your parents are
parents. Yeah, no, that is very true. I do agree with that. That was good.
So
that is good for people to understand that your parents are humans. They do make mistakes, but also parents have to understand that if you don't know, understand I damn sure don't know. You didn't teach me because you didn't know. You weren't taught. So at some point, some cycle needs to be broken. And for me, it was important for me to break the cycle because I refused to go into that cycle with my kids. We did our sit down. That was pretty productive. That was way more productive than I thought it was going to be.
Really? Been for like 30 minutes.
So you guys got to give this video a thumbs up. Leave us some advice or not comments. Leave us some advice or thoughts in the comments. But it was in the comments, so I can say leave a comment in the comments. Yeah, okay. Leave some advice or a comment or some thoughts on our sit down or your situation in the comments.
Hopefully this won't be the last time.
What won't be the last time?
You and I sit down.
Yeah, we're going to do other video ideas. It won't be another sit down like this. Hopefully this will be the last sit down.
Let's pray.
Hopefully this will be the sit down. Yeah. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on my notifications so you get notified next time I post a video. And I will be back shortly with another video. Say bye. I know I've had on a hat, y'all, but it's because my hair under here is a mess. And I plan on taking it out soon. But before I edited that video with me and my mom, I wanted to come on here really quick and touch bases pretty much and wrap up the video and what I took from it and where I think me and her relationship is going to go from here. One, as y'all will be able to see in this video, that communicating is key to a lot of things, and being able to just have that conversation that probably you don't want to have really helps and solves a lot of issues. Two, something that I learned with this conversation, and really I'm sharing this with you guys because, like I said, I feel like a lot of young adults really struggle with their relationship with their parents, especially as you start to be more independent. And like I've always been independent, so I think like as I continue to get my independence, my parents and parents of young adults struggle with like how to cope with that. So something that I've learned and something that young adults should take into account is that your parent is somebody's child too. And that's something that my mama told me, and it really like sank with me. Like, as when our parents disappoint us, we put our parents on like such a high pedestal, and we see them as almost more human like they don't make mistakes, but really they do. They're someone's child too. In the same way they didn't teach us because they didn't know, they probably didn't know. So I think it was really important for me to have that conversation with my mom, or continue to have conversations like this with my mom, so that I break the cycle, so that I don't continue and I refuse to have this type of relationship with my kids. I hope not. And not to say bad, but just different. I really want a different relationship with my kids. So that this conversation was very liberating to me. My mom realized a lot of things that she didn't realize, or stuff that maybe I wasn't communicating properly, and vice versa. She communicated things to me that made me see her side and her responses in a different light. And more importantly, people make mistakes. People don't always have the answers to everything, and we can't always see our parents as someone, or as people who won't ever make a mistake. I think it's something that I really took away from this. I don't know what's gonna happen with me and my mom's relationship. Hopefully it progresses. Hopefully we can continue to have conversations like this and understand each other's standpoint, and then hopefully it can trickle on to maybe my relationship with my dad. I don't know, they can hopefully trickle down to me just having healthier relationships in life in the future. And really that's the importance of figuring out why relationships, because I feel like if your relationships with your parents are off, your relationships in general are off. Those are like your first most valued relationships. So for me to have a relationship with people who I should be so close to be so tainted, my look on relationships, not even like intimate relationships, friendships and things like that, are a lot different. So I hope you guys really took a lot from this conversation, and to realize that my life is not all together. My life, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I wasn't given all the answers, but I'm here trying to do things differently, trying to learn, trying to grow. And I hope you guys stay on this journey with me, watch my process, and a lot of different other things. I'm not going to keep doing these sit-down videos, but I wanted to just come on here and wrap it up for you guys, wrap up what I took from that video, or what I took from that conversation, and where things are going to hopefully continue to progress with us. I really hope y'all learned something for the conversation, and that y'all could give us advice on how to continue working on our relationship, and how to just communicate our problems better with each other.